Hey guys, what's going on? It's Ben here, and today I'm going to be doing another follow-up Dwight Howard video, and in this video I'm going to be talking about potential landing spots for him because he is now going to be a free agent since the Nets and him agreed to a buyout. So the Nets will waive him and will pay him the $23 million, but he will be a free agent to do as he pleases, and I think just getting right into it, the primary reason that the Nets did this is because they want their younger players to develop, and with a aging prime time player like Dwight Howard, you don't really want him taking up all the minutes that the young guys could be getting. Guys like Jared Allen and Jahlil Okafor, they really need those minutes compared to Dwight Howard to develop, and they're not in a win right now mode, so Dwight Howard wouldn't really help them all that much. So I think that's the main reason why they cut Dwight Howard and got rid of him. And also, they will be freeing up a lot more space off their books come next year here coming up. So that being said, I'm going to get into some of the landing spots that I could see him going to and discuss what his fit might be and how he might help those teams. So the first team I have him going to would be the Golden State Warriors. Now, they don't have much cap space. He would have to probably take a very low salary, but he did just say in a statement after getting cut by the Nets that his goal was to go to a place and help a team win. And I think he could really help these Warriors win. I think he's an upgrade over both Zaza Pachulia and JaVale McGee. And, you know, you don't have to play him when you want to go small ball, but when you want to play big and face other bigger teams, you can then put him on the floor for long stretches. You know, if you want to play him 35 minutes a night, that's fine. If you want to play him 22 minutes a night, I think that's fine too. I think he fits really well with them. You know, the biggest thing about Dwight is everyone says he's a locker room problem, but I feel like the Warriors have taken in troublesome guys, and they've done all right with them. They have Draymond, who can be troublesome. They have JaVale. They have Nick Young. So I think that it's a place where guys who maybe have had a troubled past can go and do well and succeed. And I think that that's why it would be a good place for Dwight, is that he wouldn't have any scrutiny really or any pressure on him, and he would just be able to have a clean slate and no one would be judging him too harshly based on it. So yeah, I really like the Warriors for him. I feel like he could probably get them about 12 rebounds a game, which would be great because that's really their weakness, is being a small team and not physical enough. So that would be really good for them. And yeah, that's really how I feel about Dwight right now. I think that he could do well on that Warriors team. So the next team I'm thinking of for Dwight would be the Dallas Mavericks. Now in the draft yesterday, I don't know if you guys paid attention to how it went down or who picked who, but the Mavericks actually passed up on the guy that I predicted them to take, who was Mo Bamba, who was a 7'1" center and who I thought would fit perfectly for them. But they passed up on him, and so that being said, that leaves a hole for them at center, which I think Dwight Howard could fit really well. You know, the Mavs are trying to court him for a really long time, and he never ended up going there. But this could be his time to go there and be the go-to man, honestly. There's really no other go-to player on that team. He could step into that role and be the guy on that team if he wanted to be. He could put up similar numbers this next year, like 17 and 13 like he did last year. He'd have the opportunity that he has been looking for to be more of the focal point again on a team. There wouldn't really be any expectations because they're really young and not a very good team right now. So he wouldn't have to worry about the pressure of winning. And if he just wanted to strut his stuff and maybe make an all-star team putting up bigger numbers, he could do that. And they have the cap space for him. Another team who I don't think now will be interested because of their drafting last night, but still could potentially sign him, will be the Phoenix Suns. They did draft DeAndre Ayton last night, and they were potentially going to give Clint Capella a max contract. But maybe Clint Capella stays in Houston or just doesn't go to Phoenix. That would leave the hole at center. And if they wanted to, they could sign Dwight and put him at the 5, put DeAndre Ayton at the 4, and just play a really big Twin Towers lineup. I could see that happening. the likelihood is low, but it could happen. Sort of replicating what the Pelicans are doing with the two big guys, with Anthony Davis and DeMarcus Cousins, but instead with Ayton and Dwight Howard. The floor spacing might be an issue. Ayton is really going to have to improve his jump shooting if they want to make that work. He's going to have to become proficient at three-pointers, but I guess that one's a little less likely than the other ones just because of the spacing issues, and they want to give Ayton enough space to develop. Much the same reason why the Nets cut Howard is because they want their young guys to be able to develop without him taking up all the minutes. So that's how I feel about that one. I think it could be interesting, though. They could be a dominant force down low. So we'll just have to wait and see on that one, based on how they're feeling about the center position or how they're feeling about DeAndre Ayton maybe sliding to the 4, which might be a tough transition for a rookie who's used to the 5. The next team I'm thinking of is the New Orleans Pelicans. Let's say they don't re-sign DeMarcus Cousins and they let him walk because he wants too much money. Dwight could be a cheaper option to give you similar production. He's not going to put up as big numbers as DeMarcus Cousins, but he can still fill that center role and do it really well and allow Anthony Davis to play the 4 and play against smaller guys so he doesn't get banged up as much and can preserve himself better. Anthony Davis, for the first time ever, really played a full season last year, and that's very rare because usually he plays 60 games or less in a season. So it's very impressive that he stuck the whole thing out and was healthy. And I think the key to that was having DeMarcus Cousins with him for most of the year, in that DeMarcus could play the 5 and Davis could play the 4 where he's really supposed to play, and he didn't have to bang with the 5s down low. So if you bring in Dwight, then you preserve that for Anthony Davis. And plus, I really like adding Dwight to this young core who got to the second round. If you keep Mirotic, Drew Holiday, Rondo, and Dwight Howard, you're going to have a good core there. Again, spacing might be a little bit of an issue if you have Rondo and Howard on the court at the same time. Davis is going to have to shoot from the perimeter a lot more if you want to play him with Howard, but it still would be a good addition in my mind. Another option was very unlikely, but would be going back to Houston. I don't see this happening whatsoever, but it could happen if him and James Harden somehow agree to mend bridges and Dwight is really okay with taking a role player role on the team. He would have to know that he's not a star. This is only a scenario for me if Clint Capella goes to a different team and they need someone to replace him. They could get Dwight to just put up the exact same numbers and fill the exact same hole. Because I feel like they're about the same level of player right now, except Dwight has a few more offensive moves than Clint. But it would be cool to see him catch lobs from Chris Paul, and I think that he could still do really well in Houston. I don't know why he didn't do as well as he could have done a lot better when him and James Harden were together the first time, but who knows? This could work really well, and maybe Dwight's gotten over his ego a bit, and it would turn out really well, and he'd be able to acknowledge that he's not the star player on the team. The next team I have on here is the Los Angeles Clippers. This is mainly if DeAndre Jordan walks in free agency, they could get Dwight to fill his void. Again, I think they're very similar talent-wise, and Dwight could basically put up the same numbers as DeAndre. Good blocks, good rebounds, actually a better scorer, I'd say. And, he could be a nice piece, and they could be a fringe playoff team, I think. But it's sort of you have to wait and see for where DeAndre might go. So yeah, that's how I feel about that. I don't really. Those 5 are the teams I could see him going to. Really, there just aren't many teams with cap space. Honestly, is the problem, and Dwight is going to have to be willing to play for less money if he wants to get on a good team for sure. Obviously. You might say the Lakers, if they strike out on some big free agents, they might use some of that $60 million cap space on a guy like Dwight, but I don't see him going back to LA when he didn't really like it there the first time. I don't think the fans would really like him coming back. he's really becoming an NBA journeyman, and I'm trying to think of places where he'd fit, but there's just not a lot of places where he hasn't been there, or the fan base doesn't dislike him, or they have enough cap space to sign a player of his caliber. So that's where I'm at. So those are my ideas for where Dwight Howard might go in free agency. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you let me know your thoughts in the comments, and I'll see you next time. Bye, guys.